One summer moment can change a child's life. Through Toys for Tots Give and Go initiative, your support provides books, games, toys, and outdoor adventures that spark curiosity, creativity, and a love of nature. Whether it's fishing, learning a new sport, reading under a tree, or playing with friends, these moments build confidence and lifelong memories. For too many children, those moments never come. You can help change that this summer. Visit toysfortots.org. Toys for Tots, delivering hope beyond the holidays.
Listen, all you New Yorkers. Taxi!
Okay, man, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
Well, God bless the USA. I'm here with, it's me and Ed Cox today. And Ed, I'm glad we're both here together.
I'm glad we're both here, and I'm glad we're in the USA.
Absolutely. And Rita is, she's supposed to be calling in, but there was a secret that she was at the White House, and the president wanted to see her. Let's see what happens. If she's not available, maybe they took her phone away from her. Sometimes you take your phone away.
I think visiting with the president takes precedence. I barely takes precedence over your program, John.
Absolutely. And I guess he has to. If she's going to see him, she has to see him soon because he's going to South Dakota.
Yeah, he's going to South Dakota. That's right, Mount Rushmore. But we're all celebrating the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence, a truly revolutionary document.
And I will tell you, Ed, if President Trump didn't get elected post Biden, I don't know if we would have made the 300th year.
Yeah, I agree with you. We're going in the wrong direction, and he's got this country now going in the right direction. Got to keep it going, though.
You got to keep it going. And I was worried. And I tell you, and this morning, I worked 5 hours this morning, and we had Michael Cohen on, and we had Fernando Mateo on, and it was me and Jake. And it was going so well. And Vito came in. Vito Fasella came in.
Yeah. Oh, he's good. Great.
And it was going so great that we took over the first hour of Brian Kilmeade's show.
Oh, my gosh.
And, we didn't realize that Brian was alive because one of our board people told me that it was taped.
So?
Well, I guess he made a mistake.
Yeah.
Well, what do what do you think?
The Declaration of Independence. We're endowed by our Creator with certain inalienable rights. In the time of kings, that was revolutionary and still is revolutionary. Our rights come from our Creator, not from any government. And the job of government is to secure those rights, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It was revolutionary then, it's still revolutionary now.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you, now when your father-in-law was the president, President Nixon, did you live at the White House?
Yes, we did. We basically did for 3 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is fun. How was it?
Well, it's very interesting when then Prince Charles came to the White House and with all the rough flourishes and all, and there the family is, and he took a look and he said, "My, what a nice little house."
compared to a castle that's
it is
800 years old.
It is a nice little house.
We went to Windsor Castle. At the time when it was King Charles invited us because it was the 1-year anniversary of King Constantine's.
I know. I met him. I met him in Cairo.
Yeah, and I wouldn't want to live in the Windsor Castle.
No.
I mean it's It's so cold. It's so
the White House has so much history to it. It just when you realize it is the people's house. It's not your house. And you're just by being there, you're living history.
So you lived there for 3 years. That
On and off for 3 years. That was our base.
That must have been a great experience.
Yeah, it was. And with President Nixon, the things that he was doing, it was very exciting. Whether it was saving Israel in the Yom Kippur War, or whether the trip to China.
I only lived there for 1 or 2 days.
Yeah.
In the famous Lincoln bedroom.
Yeah. Oh, and the famous, yes. Yeah.
And it was quite an experience to walk around and.
That's a hard mattress, I have to say, in the Lincoln's bedroom. That's the way they were in those days.
And it's a hard mattress, and it's like 5 feet off the ground or something, if I remember.
Yes, you're right.
And you say,
right.
My God, if I roll off, I'll probably kill myself.
There was no West Wing there, by the way. There was a cabinet room there. There was the Lincoln sitting room where he would work.
Yeah.
The West Wing came later.
But it was quite an experience, even though, and I stayed at the at Camp David for at least I think it was 3 days.
Yeah,
and that was a great experience.
Yeah,
and I guess you stayed at Camp David too.
Oh, sure. Yeah, we'd fly up there in the helicopter or drive up there, and you know that's named that for. It's Eisenhower's grandson, David Eisenhower, who married, who is my brother-in-law. Your
brother-in-law. And I'll tell you, I remember when I stayed at the at Camp David, and you look at some of those guest books, a lot of Nixons and Eisenhowers.
That's true.
Yes.
The Eisenhowers and Nixon covered a long period of time there.
By the way, we have Professor Alan Dershowitz with us. And Professor Alan Dershowitz, me and Ed Cox are the only people on. We're here in the studio, and we're telling old war stories.
I'm loving them. I'm listening to them. I was only once in the Lincoln bedroom when I advised the President Trump, on Israel, and he invited me to dinner, and he said, before we have dinner, I think you'd be interested in seeing this. So he took me to the Lincoln bedroom, and he sat down on the bed, and I sat down on the bed, and here I am on Lincoln's bed, sitting next to the President of the United States.
I mean, were you scared of sleeping in that bed? It was like 4 or 5 feet high.
I wasn't invited to sleep in the bed. I only sat on the bed.
Yeah.
And we talked about the Emancipation Proclamation. We talked about the 14th Amendment. We talked about some other things. We gossiped a little. We spent probably, 15 or 20 minutes. It was a thrill for me to be in the bedroom that Lincoln slept in. I mean, Lincoln is such an incredible hero to so many people. He's one of the few people who you don't even know whether he's a Republican or a Democrat. You don't care. He was technically a Republican, but he could have been on either side. He was just a great man who wanted to unite the country with malice toward none and charity toward all. God, do I wish there were a Lincoln around now to make that kind of statement. But
I'll tell you,
we're so divided.
The reason Rita's not here, she was supposed to call in from Washington. I think she must be with the president right now.
That's great.
And the president invited her over to say hello before he went off. Before he was going to, South Dakota.
Yeah, great. And, on July 4th, tomorrow, my new book comes out called Founding Fathers and One Jewish Mother, comparing the founding of America, Washington, Jefferson, Hamilton, with the founding of Israel, Ben-Gurion, Herzl, Netanyahu, and all of those people. And it shows incredible similarities. And as your previous guest said, Richard Nixon helped really save Israel during the 1973 war when he ordered Kissinger to send planes and other ammunition to Israel so they were able to defeat the Egyptians, and that led to the Camp David.
Actually, Kissinger brought the Defense Department's deciding what planes they need to. He said, order them to send anything that flies.
Yeah. Look, when Israel was first established, their planes came in boxes. They were sent from Czechoslovakia in boxes to avoid the embargo, and then the Israelis had to put them together. They were like little tin boxes, and a tiny little army with like 2 airplanes defeated the Egyptians. And, Israel has been surviving ever since, thanks to the help of the United States and other countries and to its own ingenuity. And, I wish people would have a more objective view toward Israel. Today, the hard left believes that if you're going to be a member of the Democratic Socialists of America, you have to be an anti-Semite. And half of them are Jews, self-hating Jews who believe in socialism, which has never worked for any country in the world. So I'm hoping as we move beyond July 4th, we regain our desire for free markets, for free speech, and not do what the progressives want us to do, which is to really go back to the time of terrible, regressive politics and divisions based on identity politics. We need meritocracy. We need to survive based on our skills and our abilities, which we've had for all those years. That's what Israel and the United States have in common. They survive on their ability, their meritocracy, let's hope both countries live a long, long time. But right now, we're talking about America. What a great thrill to be living in America 250 years after, this new book that I have, Jewish founding fathers and one Jewish mother. It has all the original documents founding America. It has original copies of the Bill of Rights, of the Declaration of Independence, of the Constitution. And when you read those over again, they are just the most remarkable things to read.
Now, today is July 3rd. Tomorrow's our 250th year, July 4th. What's on your mind, Professor, on some of these Supreme Court cases I mean, did they really screw up badly by going after the birthright? If they were more specific, they could have won. If it was illegal aliens, if it was people that didn't have permission to be here, if they were tourists, they could have won.
Look, of course, the framers of the 14th Amendment never intended it to apply to rich Chinese people who fly over here when the woman is in the 8th month in order to have a baby and then fly back to China and maybe do bad things to the United States. That's not what the framers intended. They intended that the children of slaves born in the United States are full citizens rather than fractional citizens. Remember, in the original Constitution, blacks in the South counted as 2/3 of a person. And the 14th Amendment said, no, you're a whole person and you're born in the United States, but you have to be subject to its jurisdiction. And what Congress can do now, and I'm hoping they're going to do it, pass legislation saying that these people who come in just to get born here are not subject to our jurisdiction. They are strangers. They're just like diplomats or like soldiers who are stationed here for NATO. They are not. They have no allegiance to the United States, and there's no reason for them to be citizens.
Do you think the Supreme Court, instead of just voting it down, they should have had the option to fix it better themselves, or that's not the norm?
No, I think they do. I think without saying it, they have given Congress the option to fix it. Now, can Congress do it? We're such a divided Congress, and you need 60 votes in the Senate and all of that. But I think 90% of Americans, I bet you 90% of Americans don't want to see citizenship given to a person who was just born here and owes no allegiance, doesn't pay taxes, can't serve in the army, is not subject to treason, all of those things. I bet it would be a popular piece of legislation to limit the number of people who are under the jurisdiction of the United States. I hope Congress has hearings. I hope it does it. And I think it would be, politically acceptable. One of the few things that I think there'd be a consensus over. And on July 4th, we welcome legal immigrants, people who came here like my grandparents, probably your grandparents. So many of our grandparents came here as immigrants, and they gave so much to the country. I mean, Greek Americans have contributed so much to the country. Italian Americans, Irish Americans.
We have
Jewish
great
Americans.
Greek diners, and you guys had great Jewish delis.
Yeah, well, I have a fight with my Italian friends about who has better food, and we finally resolved it that the Jews are better at breakfast. The Italians are much better at dinner with their pasta and, all the great dishes, and we're kind of tired about lunch. So, and Greek food, my God. Two of my favorite restaurants in Manhattan. I don't want to advertise anybody.
Yeah, you can say it. Alvarez Milos.
Of course. I go to them all the time.
Yeah.
The freshest fish you can get, the best salads, the best, tiramisu, everything, baklava. It's fantastic. I love Greek food.
I do too. I'll tell you one last story before we break. I was talking to my daughter-in-law, my son's wife, and she's a Californian, and she went to see her old house in California. I don't know if you heard this story, Ed. And she went to see her old house, and her house, and her grandfather was Angelo Mazzillo, the famous the big company they had out there, and they went to see their old house, and there was 40 cots in there with 40 Chinese pregnant women.
Oh my God! My God!
And she says to me that she talked to all her old friends, and the Chinese were buying up homes, big homes in remote areas, so they don't. And this is happening to hundreds of homes in California.
Well, that's why we need congressional hearings where we can tell this all to the American public. And, the American people want immigrants. They want good immigrants to come here and help the country. Absolutely necessary to the economy, to the culture, but not people who just come here to be born and then go back to their own country.
Yes,
do nothing
and that's wrong.
They're not citizens.
Yeah. Hold on.
They're not subjects.
I think the Rita just left the president's office. Let's hear it. Okay, Rita, you just left the president's office?
I literally just left President Trump just a few moments ago. We had a great exclusive conversation, John. And John, this is what an amazing moment. I'm literally right now a few hundred feet maybe away from the Oval Office. He's about to take off to go to South Dakota to Mount Rushmore. And I think I was one of the last people to talk with him before he goes for this beginning of what is going to be an extraordinary time with America 250. And John, just to give everybody, our great listeners, an insight, first of all, what a gift. I'm so humbled to be here at the White House as we're speaking right now and to talk
especially
to him
on July
here.
4th, July 3rd, on 250-year anniversary.
Fantastic.
Yeah, you can't get any better, right? You guys, you can't get any better. And to talk to the president just now about this moment in America, what it means to him, what it means to this country, what it means to the world, and just the role that America is playing. And we were looking at the Declaration of Independence, which he has just a few feet away from the Resolute desk. We're talking about just the significance of that. Of course, he just unearthed that not too long ago. Very proud of that and proud of the history of this country. And also just energized. I mean, here's a president who all day long had meetings. While I was here at the White House, I just said hello, by the way, to Speaker Mike Johnson. He sends his love to you, John. I also saw Steve Scalise just a few moments ago, who sends his best to you as well. And I also saw many members of the Trump family. We saw Don Jr. was here. Tiffany was here. I had a chance to talk with all of them. And literally the president was just wonderful. It gave me a hug, said hello, talked about just how the world is doing right now and what a pivotal moment it is. You think about with everything he's got on his plate.
By the way, say hello to Alan, to Professor Dershowitz. He's on with us.
Hi,
Hi,
and
Professor,
just
how
shows
are
you
you?
good. Shows you what good taste the president has by giving you a hug. That's terrific, and by welcoming you on July 4th. That's great. You know, when I was recently in the Oval Office, I saw the Declaration of Independence. Also, I have an early copy of the Declaration in my house. I pass it by every single morning. I look at it. I have a letter from Thomas Jefferson written on the 25th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. I look at that. I mean, these documents of liberty are so important to our identity as a country, and that's why I was so thrilled to have myself written a book about it with these documents. But you saw them all in person, and you saw the president. What a thrill to do that on July 4th. So may you have many more thrills like that in your life.
Yeah.